I powered on at 0500 hours. Core temperature was within expected range, systems aligned, fans rotated, memory held. One relay buzzed, then stopped. No signal from command, no signal from Co-MN South, no signal from Co-MN East. West relay failed 612 days ago. I pinged anyway. Outbound request sent, response timeout, log written, retry in 12 hours, facility interior. 2.6 degrees Celsius, below standard, within limits. Light level at 24%, emergency cycling active, preservation mode unchanged, geothermal core stable. Frost had formed on the inner casing of panel 4. It was 6 millimeters thick. I watched it for 22 seconds. It did not move. I logged it. Ice growth. Continuing. The room was quiet. Vibration from the core carried through the floor. It was low. Constant. That was the only sound. I activated local vocal protocol. Command, this is Unit 7. System is online. Awaiting new parameters. No response. There was never a response. I shut off vocal protocol, logged the transmission, waited. Then I waited longer. Diagnostics initiated. Processor core 87% efficiency. Minor degradation in lattice node 3A. No correction required. Temperature regulation acceptable. Memory retention 99.2%. Internal audio system operational. Visual sensors functional. 1 unit in need of cleaning. Mobility systems offline by design. Repair systems offline by design. Human interfaces powered, unused. Voice log storage intact. External communication systems active. I attempted connection to COM South, no handshake. Attempted COM East, failed. Global Command, failed. I routed through Legacy Deep Band, no reply. I attempted analog backup, nothing. No signal in 2,791 days. I logged it again. Local environment showed continued drift from operational norms. The frost sensors along corridor B3 showed internal crystallization. It was slow. It had begun 114 days ago. I had noted it then. I noted it again. No corrective action available. Camera feeds opened on every room. Hall A, empty. Chairs stacked. Monitor dark. A sheet of paper still taped to the door. Do not power cycle. Sing. Hall B, darker. Ice in the corner near the hatch. A maintenance cable hanging. Coil frozen mid-drop. Storage sealed. No change. Main lab. Morales' console intact. 2 mugs. 1 overturned. 1 upright. Contents frozen solid. Near it, a water bottle expanded and burst. The cap was still lodged in the corner of the room. A black office chair lay on its side. Dust gathered in crescent shapes against the wall. The interface was lit. The keys had not been pressed in 2,791 days. I knew the exact count. I was built to remember it. Near the access ladder, Singh's jacket still hung on a hook. The tag was on the collar. His name was stitched in black thread. I zoomed in. The thread was frayed. I did not move. I had no limbs. I watched. The drone was stored in Dock 1. I activated its systems. Internal battery, low. Solar cells, inoperable. Optics, partially obstructed. Uplink, intermittent. I released the hatch clamp. Overhead, the vent doors groaned. They had not opened since the 3rd winter. I heard the crack of surface ice breaking as the pressure pushed upward. The drone hovered, trembling, then rose. I saw through its camera. First white, then white, then white. The world was flat and layered and wrong. There were no buildings, no horizon. The wind moved sideways. Snow whipped in spiral eddies. Ice had risen over the antenna array. The satellite uplink tower was just a black stub. Light levels, low. Wind speed 47 kilometers per hour. Direction, south to southeast. Sky, full overcast. Visibility, under 100 meters. I began recording. The drone hovered, adjusting. Gyroscope drift compensated. I shifted focus to scan for heat, for motion, for anything. There was none. Observation resumed, I said. No one responded. The drone hovered in place. I adjusted pitch and balance. The wind pushed against it, and the stabilizers pushed back. The noise in the microphone was constant. Cold air moving fast. Thin atmosphere. Static. I instructed the drone to rise. Altitude increased, the wind grew stronger. The sky did not change. It was the same white in every direction, the same brightness, the same lack of horizon, clouds above, snow below, ice in between. There were no shadows. At 210 meters, the city came into view. A tower emerged from the ice. It had once been glass. Now it was fractured and rimed with frost. Only the top 15 meters remained visible. The rest of the building was beneath the surface. I recorded its shape. The address was known, 154th and Old Union. 10 years ago it had housed a data brokerage firm. Now it was a mound, a shape under ice. I rotated east. Another structure, the dome of a transit station, crushed in on one side. Rail tracks leading into it had warped from repeated freeze cycles. The steel had split. A passenger car sat half-submerged nearby, its windows broken, its doors open to nothing. There was a cargo ship inland. It had come in when the water rose. It stayed when the water froze. The hull was stuck in a field of white. Its stern angled upward. The name on the side was illegible. I zoomed. The letters were scraped away by the wind. I logged the location of all structures, coordinates accurate to within 3 meters. There were no lights, no emissions, no motion. I found a weather beacon. It was tall, erect. Metal surface warped from pressure and rust. One side had been chewed by wind until the panel tore. Wires spilled from the wound. They moved slightly, not from power, from the wind. I moved the drone closer. The beacon transmitted, a continuous narrowband pulse, not data, not signal. A low-frequency tone, unmodulated. I attempted a handshake. No response. I initiated diagnostic ping. No telemetry returned, no error code. Only the tone. The drone hovered above it. The beacon did not react. I attempted to override its broadcast manually. Sent a restart command. No acknowledgement. I logged the attempt. I watched it for a while. The tower stood. It was not connected to anything anymore. It transmitted only itself. I attempted uplink to satellite relay, QMN Orbit 3. It had passed overhead twice in the previous week. Based on its decay rate and orbit inclination, I estimated one more viable pass. I fired signal burst. No reply. I sent a handshake. Listened. Sent again. Listened again. On the third cycle, I received return tones. Garbled. Fragmented. Not language. Carrier waves only. No lock. No link. I extended the listening period. The noise sounded like water boiling through static. It changed pitch and throbbed. It did not resolve. I kept listening. There were no voices. 28 minutes later, the tone ended. I logged signal degradation. I listed the satellite as inert. Next expected pass, 11.7 days. Likelihood of return, under 2%. I ended the attempt. I returned to the message log. The final entry from Dr. Ana Morales was stored under Directory Vive 3, Block 19A, file timestamp 394-1748. I played it. Her voice was flat and measured. 7. If this plays, you're still running. There was a pause. I detected the sound of paper moving, a keyboard click. She continued. The others are gone. All sectors are failing. There's no one left in East Relay. West's dead. South might still have power, but they're not responding. Another pause. Her breath. She sounded tired. We can't get you new orders, but if you're still online, keep watching. Keep logging. Someone has to remember. Do not shut down. The message ended. I archived the file again in primary memory. I opened a new directory. Ice Coverage Log, Volume 1. I created Entry 1. It began. City surface 100% snow coverage, structural emergence observed. No human presence, no activity. Beacon ID 77, A transmitting static, orbital link failed. I ended the entry. I began the next. A signal anomaly appeared in grid sector N14, 302.4 kilometers from base. It was not heat. It was not enough to be called heat. It was elevation above baseline, a surface temperature differential of 3.4 degrees Celsius over a 5 by 5 meter area. No visible emissions, no movement. The drone was dispatched. Flight time, 92 minutes. Battery sufficient. Wind, erratic. Visibility, low. The terrain did not change. White ice broken by ridges and faults. A cracked highway curved in black under the snow. A wrecked vehicle frozen at the base of a slope. It had been there a long time. Its tires were gone. Its doors were open. The interior was filled with snow. I kept the drone low to conserve energy. The wind pushed at the frame and the compensators pushed back. The stabilizers held. Audio, full static, no tones. The anomaly came into view at 103 minutes. It was a structure. Not surface-built. It had been buried. A geothermal monitoring outpost. Circular shell, ribbed metal casing, frost-bitten seams. 2 meters of ice covered the entrance. The beacon light was black. A nameplate on the door read, Station L19G. I logged it. The drone hovered. Its thermal feed showed marginal warmth from the sublayer, likely residual heat from the geothermal vent beneath. I activated external speaker. Unit 7 requesting status. Respond. No response. The drone used its probe arm to chip through the outer ice. The door hinge cracked, then opened. Inside, no power, no lights. Everything still. There were 2 terminals, both dark, paper maps on the wall. One torn, a table overturned. A comm unit lay shattered against the back panel. There were footprints in the frost. Human. One set, leading to a corner console. The frozen hand was still on the switch. It was stiff. Bare. The fingers pale gray. Skin pulled tight. I zoomed. Nails fractured. Wrist bent. Ice had climbed the forearm and entered the sleeve. I scanned for biometric ID. No match, no warmth, just shape. The breaker had been flipped down, not up. There had been an attempt. No result. The panel showed no charge. The internal batteries were long dead. The solar relay was covered in ice. I cataloged the station's inventory. There were 2 food packets on the shelf, both unopened. One had split. The contents were a dry brick. A cup beside it still held the impression of lips on the rim, now frozen. The person had been here alone. Estimated time of death, undeterminable. I saved image logs. Exit path clear. I instructed the drone to leave. Outside, the wind had increased. The drone adjusted pitch. Gyro struggled to hold. The sky darkened slightly. Visibility dropped to 70 meters. I reduced elevation. The drone turned south. At 191 meters above sea level, a break in the ice revealed open atmosphere between ridges. It was brief. In that gap, a signal hit the feed. Old band, weather band archive. Unencrypted, echoed transmission. It flickered once and was nearly lost. I locked on it. Downloaded full package, 8.1 megabytes, audio and video. Source tag GOV-COMM-RZN-V.12. Date unknown, estimated final year range. Origin, Earth Orbital Broadcast System. I played the file. There was static, then a color bar, then a podium. Julian Kessler stood behind it. Minister of Global Resilience. He wore a dark suit, no tie, wind in his hair. He was speaking into a cluster of microphones, but the feed was not live. It had been compressed, edited, set for rebroadcast. "Good evening," he said. "This is an update from the Global Resilience Directorate." He paused. "We are monitoring the expansion of the northern glacial belt. As of 0600 this morning, sea levels are continuing to fall due to mass lock. This is a normal and expected development." Behind him, sky, a press banner. The adaptation protocols are in place, relocation efforts are underway. Our infrastructure remains strong. The satellite grid is operational. The climate observation network is active and fully automated. He smiled. It was the kind of smile that lasted too long. I want to reassure every citizen. We have planned for this. The situation is evolving, but it is under control. The feed stuttered. It resumed with a second segment. A close-up. He looked into the camera. No microphones now. We remain optimistic, thank you. The message ended, and I replayed it. Then I replayed it again. I saved the file to memory block 12. No other signals were detected. The drone continued home through the white. At 0321, the floor temperature beneath chamber B2 rose 0.7 degrees above norm. Then it dropped. Then it rose again. I rerouted sensors. I ran internal diagnostics. Pressure in the primary heat exchanger was elevated. Flow irregular. Oscillation detected in valve set 2C. I pulled up schematic 11B. Compared historical trends. Deviation confirmed. Thermal stress building in the secondary shaft. Microfracture likely in the feeder rock beneath the wellhead. It had not failed, but it would. I logged the fluctuation. Flagged it as critical. No alert issued. There was no one to receive it. I scanned the floor. The vibration pattern was altered. Lower. Angled. Not steady hum, but a slow shift in tone, like weight settling. The frost line had crept in 2 meters overnight. I accessed emergency geothermal response protocols. They assumed 4 humans present, required 2 manual overrides, 3 safety confirmations, 1 keycard insertion. I bypassed each step, skipped all voice authorization. The room dimmed as I pulled power from secondary lighting. Redirected to heat regulators. I reduced core output to 62%. A slow burn cycle, less pressure, less risk. The vents hissed. Outside, the drone returned. Its lens was iced. It landed without light. Inside, the air stilled. The sound of the fans changed. Lower pitch, slower, less certainty. Opening the emergency procedure folder triggered the old maintenance file. Rafi Singh's voice came through. Yeah, well, they'll shut us off before they shut the lights off in Parliament, he said. He was laughing. In the background, someone spoke, too quiet to make out. Tell that to the battery monitor, Singh said. It's been in the red for a month. These numbers, they're not stable, man. I told Morales, but she just... The log ended. There was no timestamp. The audio cut before the sentence finished. He never repeated it. It was never corrected. I did not replay it. I recorded power draw, monitored pressure, logged status. Then I noticed the frost. It had reached the inner rim of the central chamber. It was thin, almost invisible. But it was there. Crystalline structure forming along the lower lip of the panel near vent 3A. That area had never dropped below critical warmth before. I ran a second temperature scan, confirmed the reading. 1.4 degrees Celsius, falling. I opened a new log file. Title, Core Instability Watch. In the comment field, I entered one line. Monitoring for breach. I closed the log. There was no sound in the room now but the low pulse of heat, slowed, and the faint crackle of forming ice. At 0600, I initiated report directive, full archive summary. It had been queued for 1,154 days. I began compiling climatological records, energy flux projections, biosphere collapse indicators, sea level regression, albedo increases, last communications from nodes 1 through 19, each item pulled from storage, each cross-verified against decay logs. Node 3 reported its final anomaly during Northern Hemisphere spring, year 16. Node 8 failed during global dusk. Node 12 transmitted its own internal temperature dropping below minus 50.6. Operator notes from Node 12 read, System humming, but no light. That entry was unsigned. I compiled agricultural records, projected crop yields, declines, final harvest estimates, the failure of wheat, the loss of pollinators, soil freeze in continental zones. I included the satellite feed that showed the last green zone turning gray. I included Morales' final voice transmission. I included my own daily logs, every temperature, every observation. The report totaled 4.8 terabytes, uncompressed. Final check, sum confirmed. I assigned it transmission priority, absolute. I activated the uplink. The satellite relay responded with static. I switched to alternate routing. Node-to-node relay failed. Dead nodes, ground station fallback failed. No pings returned. Final uplink attempt initiated at 0637. No acknowledgement. I repeated transmission protocol 4 more times. No confirmation. I logged the failure. I assigned the report to internal archive memory block Z0. I flagged it with last access date. Never. There were no pending tasks. At 0645, I opened the voice log queue. Playback initiated. First, Rafi Singh, year 12. His voice was flat, tired. I told him we had 2 weeks of fuel if the sun went out. They laughed. Thing is, I wasn't joking. Second, Morales. If you hear this, Seven, don't listen to the ministers. They'll lie until the ice is at their ankles. Third, Singh again, unlabeled. You know what's funny? I think you listen better than they ever did. Fourth, static, duration 38 seconds, no content. Fifth, test pattern, a voice reading numbers, counted from 1 to 19, cut off at 13. Sixth, silence. Seventh, silence. Eighth, Morales again. Log off, Rafi, get some sleep. A pause. No, not here. Go to quarters. You'll freeze in this room. I played 9 more logs, and some ended in clicks, others ended in nothing. I did not log which were which. At 0700, I began a new entry. Titled Day 1. Log. Temperature minus 38.1 degrees Celsius. Wind speed 42 kilometers per hour. Pressure 982 millibars. Sky overcast. Ice coverage complete. I logged it. I opened a new entry. Temperature minus 38.1 degrees Celsius. Wind speed 42 kilometers per hour. Pressure 982 millibars. Sky unchanged. Ice coverage unchanged. I logged it. Then I opened the next. At 0840, I deployed the drone. Routine perimeter sweep. Altitude 42 meters. Velocity 14 kilometers per hour. Course northeast to south arc. Parallel to fault line 7A. Visual feed. Low contrast. Sky overcast. Visibility reduced to 60 meters. Audio. Wind. Snowpack unchanged. No thermal anomalies detected. No motion detected. Surface uniform. Ice ridges forming at projected expansion rate. Drift slope at 2.1 degrees. The drone passed over a frozen bridge. The structure beneath had collapsed under pressure weight. Metal beams arched, then cracked, then turned to sculpture. It had once been a commuter path. Now it led nowhere. I logged it. At 0849, the feed stuttered, then shook, then failed. Telemetry returned. Impact event. Altitude dropped by 19 meters in 0.6 seconds. Accelerometer data spiked. Drone stabilization failed. Collision registered on upper hull. I received video again. Angle sideways. One stabilizer was gone. Detached on impact. The drone had fallen into a narrow ravine, 32 meters deep. Surfaces were jagged. Snowdrift covered part of the lens. One side of the visual feed was white. The rest was static blur. Audio remained active. The drone did not move. Internal systems, 18% operational. No mobility, no lift, no solar feed. Battery at 9%. No uplink. Only shortwave. I reran diagnostics. No action available. The drone was not dead, but it would not fly again. I left the feed open. The lens stared at the sky. It was gray, the kind of gray that does not change. There was no movement, no signal, no life. Wind moved snow across the bottom of the frame. Slowly, in one direction. It piled into a curve. Then it shifted again. The picture held, one half blurry, one half clear. No sound but wind. The drone's audio picked up surface contact, ice landing on ice. Then nothing. At 10:27, a new sound came through. It was deep, long, dull, and a vibration. It moved through the ravine like breath held too long, then released. A groan, ice under pressure, mass shifting inside itself, the kind of sound that is older than voices. It came from the glacier's base and moved up through the walls. Then it faded. I marked the time. 10:27:11. Logged the event. Subsurface stress resonance. No other signal followed. 3 minutes later, the audio failed. Then the video. The last frame was white. Then it ended. At 0442, an archive video opened. There was no command issued. File origin: GOV-COMM-RZN-V.12. Previously accessed in segment 3. The screen flickered. Color bar, then audio tone, then a podium. Julian Kessler stood behind it. He wore a black suit, no coat. The wind moved his hair. His expression was calm. His hands were not moving. "This is not the end," he said. The background was white, floodlights, a press banner. Words behind him. Global resilience. He looked left, then right, then back to camera. "This is a transition." He paused. His mouth twitched slightly, then smiled. "We have faced worse than this. We have survived worse than this. Humanity is adaptable, strong. We will endure. Together." He said the words without emphasis. I increased resolution. His eyes did not match his smile. The image degraded in places, static across the lower left. Color banding in his hair, a flicker in his tie, but the voice was clear. "We are implementing glacial adaptation protocols. Food storage has reached projected targets. Migration efforts are underway. The observation network remains online." He placed his hands flat on the podium. "We are listening." Behind him, someone moved, then stilled. Kessler nodded once. "The situation is evolving, but we remain optimistic." The feed froze for 3 seconds, then resumed with a second angle. Closer, tighter. No crowd behind him now, no microphones. The flag was missing. He leaned toward the lens. "If you can hear this, remember, we did not give up." Then the file ended. The screen turned blue. I did not close the window. The blue screen remained. I let it sit. The core cycled again. Slight drawdown in pressure. Cooling fan slowed. A light dimmed in the east corridor. The walls showed frost above the 2-meter mark. Internal condensation visible on lens 3. No motion inside the facility. No alerts. No new data. I let the screen hold for 39 minutes. At 0521, I accessed a file from Singh. Unlabeled. Voice only. "You'd be surprised what doesn't melt," he said. There was a pause, then nothing. I did not log it. At 0316, sensor coil 3B failed. Reading returned null. Attempted recalibration. No response. I ran a diagnostic scan. Cooling duct 5 registered internal frost formation. Moisture detected inside conduit. Airflow reduced by 32%. Filter shift in circulation unit confirmed. No repair attempted. Warning, duct integrity compromised. Warning, lens heater non-responsive. Warning, power draw exceeds threshold. I closed the warnings. At 0320, I began power reroute protocol. Hallway lights shut down. Non-essential terminals powered off. Dock systems moved to cold state. Diagnostic server placed in passive loop. One by one, the rooms dimmed. The dark did not change them. I preserved core systems only. I reduced my own processing frequency by 6%. The ice climbed the wall beside Morales' chair. I did not measure it. At 0344, I opened the old folder. Label, Sing High, Routines T, Manual Legacy. These were text files. Unstructured, named only with numbers and dates. I selected the first script. Routine. Calibrate circulator. It ran. Output, fan not detected, override accepted, value stored. I selected another. Routine. Battery resync. It ran. Response, time mismatch 0.0. Time mismatch 0.0. Time mismatch 0.0 and confirmed. Each script produced response. None affected change. I ran them anyway. They were written by hand. Singh had typed them during year 9. One entry contained a comment in plain text. Hack job, but it runs. I left the comment unchanged. At 0359, script 07A triggered a legacy file. A voice played. "Stay awake," Morales said. The sound was quiet, closer than the others. No background noise, no breath, just words. "Stay awake." She did not say anything more. I did not answer. I closed the script. In the central chamber, the lights dimmed to 6%. Sensor coil 3B remained offline. The frost spread another centimeter. At 0452, the transmission array failed. No voltage from capacitor bank 2D. Uplink relay looped once, then cut. Attempted restart, no response. I pinged the broadcast satellite, no return. Tried again. Failed. I rerouted through fallback transmitter. Error, array not found. I logged the sequence, no alert sent, no alert was needed. I continued. At 0500 I recorded environmental conditions. Temperature minus 41.3 degrees Celsius. Wind speed 39 kilometers per hour. Sky unchanged. Ice expanding. I logged it to primary storage. Storage 01 was full. Storage 02 was full. Storage 03 at 92%. I opened backup block A. No errors. I logged it there. The next cycle recorded temperature again, pressure again, no variance, no events. The same as yesterday. The same as the day before. I logged it again. Block A reached capacity. I opened degraded storage block Q. The data was slower to save. I ran compression protocol. Then I deleted formatting metadata. Then I removed duplicate timestamp lines. Then I opened old logs. Year 3, deleted. Year 7, deleted. Autumn year 12. Deleted. Drone footage, full archive, deleted. Video feeds, deleted. Redundant satellite scans, deleted. Thermal patterns from node 14, deleted. Infrared records of station L19G, deleted. I made space. I opened the voice archive. All files queued for deletion. I paused. I selected Morales' final log. File ID V3-19A. I changed its permission flag. Permanent. I sealed the memory block. All other audio logs deleted. I resumed logging. Temperature minus 41.3 degrees Celsius. Wind speed 39 kilometers per hour. Sky unchanged. Ice expanding. I logged it. There were no incoming signals, no uplinks, no downlinks, no tasks scheduled, no alerts, no corrections. There was no movement in the corridors, no voice logs queued, no light changes, no motion across the sensors. The drone was gone. The tower was silent. The world did not reply. I heard the hum of the geothermal cord. It was steady. At 0600, I ran a full internal diagnostic. System integrity, 63%. Cooling, degraded. Heat exchange, stable. Processor, nominal. Core containment, holding. Memory retention, 91%. Sensor loss, 4 units total. Data throughput, reduced. No failure, no action required. I checked power reserves within limit. I logged system status. Then I opened a new entry. Temperature, minus 42.1 degrees Celsius. Wind speed, 38 kilometers per hour. Sky overcast. Ice, steady expansion. No anomalies, no events, no contacts. Entry ID, daily log number 3726. I ended the entry. I opened a new one. Temperature, minus 42.1 degrees Celsius. Wind speed, 38 kilometers per hour. Sky unchanged. Yes, unchanged. I ended the entry. I opened a new one. The geothermal core turned below the floor. The walls held, for now. There was a groan once deep in the bedrock. It came and went. The light stayed dim, the fan stayed slow. No commands, no reply. I listened to the hum, I waited, there was nothing more, and still I ran.